Hello, BookTube, and this is Friday, May 27th, I think it is. Well, it's a Friday anyway, so it's Friday Reads. And I've had a pretty good week reading. I've read a ton of books, but it's not sort of the number, but because, well, we'll get to that because it's been pretty good. I started out on Saturday last week with reading The Ghost in Mrs Muir. And this is for, which will be on Sunday, will be the video for the book to film. So the book was published in 1945, and the film directed by Joseph Mankiewicz in Joseph L. Mankiewicz in 1947, starring Rex Harrison and Gene Tierney. I'll talk more about that, obviously, in the book to film. I just wanted to say this is a nice series, Vintage Movie Classics. It's by Vintage. This was published in 2014, and it's got an interesting foreword by Adriana Treghani. Not heard of her. She's apparently an author. But I really like this. I've got one more of the series, which is Logan's Run. And I like the feel of it. Like, a lot of books now come out with this velvety feel that it just like looks like you've stuck your fingers in oil and stuff and then touched the book. It's just all, it can clean off, but I don't like the feel of it. This is more of a rough feel to it, and I really like, I like the design of these. So I'm definitely going to look at more of them. Anyway, that's that. And then on Sunday, I continued with the Future History Project with Robot City, Odyssey by Michael P. Cube McDowell. And that's, well, I do have paperbacks of these, but most of them they're inaccessible, in other words, at the moment. So I've been reading them as ebooks. And then I continued to read Suspicion by Mike McQuay, or McKee. Robot City, it's book 2. And there's videos specifically for those. Then I started reading, because as many of you are going to be aware, if you've been following, that I am one of the hosts for Michael K. Vaughan's June on the Range, which starts for June, and it's reading Westerns. And I'm doing 4 book to films. I'm doing, the first one is going to be Oxbow Incident, and then, and it could be Warlock. I'm not sure of the order here now. And then Searchers, and then True Grit. Oh no! I think Searchers is the second week. Yeah, because I didn't want to put back to back for some reason. Two John Wayne films. But anyway, the Searchers, and I've got this. One of my subscribers reminded me of this book, and I was able to move some other books and grab it off the shelf with a few other things. And I started reading this on, I think it was Monday. Yeah, I started reading this Monday, and I continued on Tuesday a bit. And then a package from Boston came with science fiction, some vintage science fiction books. So this got put aside. And then I read A.E. Van Vogt. Most of it was A.E. Van Vogt. Renaissance. This is Timescape. This is one of his later books. When I say later, A.E. Van Vogt wrote in the 40s and 50s, and then mid 50s, and then disappeared for a while, doing Dianetics with L. Ron Hubbard. Then he came back in the early 60s at some point and started writing again. And I don't think his stuff after that was as good. So, but anyway, this was 1979. It's an interesting premise where um, Earth has been subjugated by a alien species called the Ut, and they deemed that in order to get peace, that men were the problem, and their anger and testosterone, basically. So they have a chemically induced rose-colored glasses that they have to wear for this, and women become the dominant species, the dominant sex, I should say, on Earth. And then, a physicist breaks his glasses, and the chemical it just doesn't work anymore. And then all of a sudden, women are falling at his feet because he's very masculine now, and it's a bit of not quite overthrow of their alien. Anyway, I think I'm going to do a whole video on A. Van Vogt, because he's an interesting writer, and I'm sort of revisiting him now with all these books. And I'm going to start reading a few more that I've got here, and some on ebook to fill in some gaps. And I'll do at least one video, maybe several videos on him and his writing and his life. In a brief sort of thing about his life. But anyway, so I read that, and then what I had was the Players of Null A, which was part 2 of the Null A series. So I was going to start reading this, and then I realized, okay, well, and then I realized that I did have the ebook, but it was a crappy one. So I actually asked a friend, and he was able to give me a few A. Van Vogt ebooks. And so I reread The World of Null A, which was published in book form in 1945. And then he followed it. Again, I'm not going to say too much about it. It's like the series of books has to do. Null A is non-Aristotelian philosophy, and it's got to do with semantics of 1920s research in semantics. But then there's general semantics, where it changes the philosophy, and people become smarter. They become more peaceful, and sort of work more as a group, because they can see all potentialities, and they sort of realize that there's underlying assumptions to everything, and it cuts through things. And then there's a character, the Go Sane, and it's that's how it's pronounced, Go Sane. He sort of has an extra brain, and he is able to transport himself from place to place if he takes sort of what he calls a mental photograph of the floor or the object, if he wants to move an object through space. And distances are meaningless in here for him to do this. It's an interesting concept. His writing style is frustrating at times, because you're going along and other things happen. It's like, here's an example. Like, this isn't a perfect example from it, but it's like, the character's trapped or in a corner or something like this, and he pulls out a special gadget, that was never mentioned before, but he has it, that gets him out of the problem. Or something else happens to throw a curveball into the plot, just out of nowhere. No explanation of where it came from or what's happened. There are humans throughout the galaxy, tens of thousands of of planets full of humans, and they're at war. Uh, they actually originally came from another galaxy. Millions. It took millions of years to come here, and they populated like he doesn't use 10,000 ships, 10,000 million ships, or 100,000 million or something like that. Like he has these huge numbers that he uses for these things. So in Earth, and Venus is populated by, that's the world of Null A, where if you're really good, you get to go to Venus. It's like a paradise that's been built there, and yeah, like I say, I'll get more into it because I do want to do some videos on A.E. Van Vogt. And I might start this week. I'll see how far I get with my reading of them. But anyway, I followed up the world of Nale with the players of Nale. It's also called, there's another name for it, I forget now. But there's another name, which is the second one. And then he actually, which I'd never read, in 1985, I think it was, he wrote a third volume called Null A3, which sort of ends the cycle, and talking about the other galaxy and so forth. So yeah, that's sort of. Let's see, was there anything else that I read? Let me see. I seem to be missing something. Let me see. It was. I read so many books this week, but they're short books, so that's the thing. So it was The Ghost of Mrs Muir, The Two Robot Cities, the three. Yeah, that's it. The three Null A books, and then the Renaissance. I'm also going to, which I'd already started, I'm going to read, I'll read this one this evening, The Beast. It's very short. This is one of his later ones as well, published in 1964, so when he first came back to writing. So I'll be reading that tonight. And I also read, because of the Ghost and Mrs. Muir, a little BFI classic, Ghost and Mrs. Muir by Frida Graf, which was published in 1995. This is an older printing. So yeah, so that's like I read a lot this week, and I'm still gonna this evening be able to read The Beast. Now next week, well, as I say, for Sunday, I will be doing if I can find it, the book to film. There's the book for Ghost and Mrs. Muir, and Sunday will be the video for the book to film. And then I will be reading the book 3, Cyborg of Robot City, by William F. Wu. I really enjoyed the first two books of Robot City. William F. Wu was the one that wrote the Robots in Time, the whole 6 volumes. So it'll be interesting to see how he puts in this volume into the series. And then for the the 4th volume of that, which I do have accessible, is the book is Prodigy by Arthur Bryan Cover. Yeah, Cover. And this was 1988, and they all have introductions by Isaac Asimov that are about 5 pages long, which are quite interesting, and they're unique to each book, and they're short. Like this is 160 some pages, 175 pages, so that's not too much. And then next week I will be this coming week, I will be reading The Searchers, The Making of an American Legend by Glenn Frankel. And this was published in 2013. And yeah, this is a fifth printing. And because it is beginning of June on the Range, I'll be starting to read 3 short stories every week in chronological order of the ones that I have. The Clifford Simak wrote 14 Western stories. 12 have been reprinted in his complete short fiction of Clifford Simak, and this is volume 7. And there's 12 of those that are available now, so there's one in each volume. So I'll be reading 3 of those, the first 3 that I do have available in chronological order. And for the book to film will be from this year, the Westerns. This was a nice gift from one of you. And it's 4 classic novels of the 1940s and 50s. This is Library of America, and it's the Oxbow Incident that I'll be reading in here by Walter Van Tilburg Clark. It also has The Searchers, which I'll be doing, and Warlock, which I will be doing as well. Shane, I've already done that as a book to film, and that'll be the following Sunday, and that will be, this is the William Wellman 1940 something, I think it is. I can't see a date here, and the date escapes me, but yeah, it stars Henry Fonda. Very good film. And anything else that I can sort of squeeze in during the week. And also, I received a book from as a nice gift from one of you. He's been thoroughly thanked. There was some difficulty getting it with the courier, but this came yesterday, and it's volume, I guess it's going to be volume 1 of Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I knew nothing about this. It's been recommended to me, and I'll just read the flap here. It says, "It has been 27 long years since the last sunrise. For nearly 3 decades, vampires have waged war against humanity, building their eternal empire even as they tear down their own. Now, only a few tiny sparks of light endure in a sea of darkness. Gabriel de Leon, half man, half monster, and last remaining Silver Saint, a sworn brother of the Holy Silver Order dedicated to defending the realm from the creatures of the night, is all that stands between the world and its end. Now imprisoned by the very monsters he vowed to destroy, the last Silver Saint is forced to tell his story. A story of legendary battles and forbidden love, of faith lost and friendships won, of the years of the blood and the forever king, and the quest for humanity's lost remaining hope, the Holy Grail." It sounds interesting. I don't know when I'll be getting to it. It's quite hefty. It's runs in at I think just under 800 pages. It's illustrated. No, just over 700 pages. As I say, I'm not sure when I'll be getting to this. It'll be a few months. Might not even be till October. October could be a good month for it. But yeah. So again, thank you very much for sending this, and it looks interesting. I think I read. I think it was on Amazon that it said that it could be the beginning of a series, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. If anybody knows, then do let me know. Anyway, that's gone on for quite a while, my Friday reads. I hope everybody's doing well, and you have a good... Oh, one last thing. I will be doing a live tomorrow, 6 o'clock my time, UK time, Greenwich Mean Time, and that's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. and that's going to be on Books About Books. And with a guest will be Amy from Amy's Dusty Bookshelf. And we will chat about books about books, collecting books, about books, and reading sort of late Victorian and early 20th century Edwardian memoirs of book collectors, and possibly a bit later as well. But yeah, join us and ask any questions. We'll discuss that of our sort of mutual love of these books, and where it's over, where we both have done videos and read a few books for videos. Anyway, I will see you then, BookTube. Take care.